Do you see that green steel behind me? That is a portion of a $100,000 40 by 40 steel building that I cannot put up on my own land because of environmentalism. Now, the county decided that we currently live in a wetlands, and when I tried to pull a permit for it, what we were going to do was, it's an identical copy to what we have right there, the PBS steel building. It's an identical copy that we were going to bring out and turn the 40 by 40 into a 40 by 80, so we had an unheated space to keep our equipment in, so they're not out in the rain and the snow. Well, our permit, we put it in a long time ago, and it languished, and we called and contacted, and they said it's in line, and all of a sudden they told us that we can't build here. So, why? Well, I have my own reasons. I think that there seems to be an effort out west anyway. I don't know your in particular situation where your local government, how they are handling things, but there seems to be a press to strip landowners of their rights to be able to do what they want to on their own land. So what do we do now? Well, we have two choices. We can either be bitter and mad about it, or we can pivot and we can figure something else out. Funny thing, or I guess the irony of the whole thing is, it uncovered a tremendous blessing. Let me show you what that is. Here we are inside the original building. Do you see that large, is it a girder rafter? Do you see how big that is? That's on the south wall. Now take a look over here. Do you see that on the north wall? Do you notice a difference? Yeah, big difference, right? When I started doing the engineering on this, I looked at this and I brought it up to the engineer, and we determined that the guy who built this shop originally designed to add this on. And we thought, whoa, hot dog, that means we're going to be able to add on for a lot less money. This big rafter or girt here was designed to support the building, so we didn't have to build another one, that we could just bolt onto it, it would carry the weight, and we could expand the building. This is the outside where that big rafter is, and the plan was to be able to add on to that, and then that was going to save us a significant amount of money with the steel. Well, when I proposed that to the county, they said, whoa, wait a minute, not so fast, that's not going to work. We've decided to change the snow load since 2005, and we've increased it by about 8 pounds or so. So what that means is when you live in particular areas that get lots of snow, they have a rating, and it's up here it's like 120 pounds per square foot of snow load, which was a little bit more than when this was originally built, and the engineering wouldn't stand up to it. So I was really bummed out about that. I thought, oh, of course, extra delay, extra time and money. It's like, whatever, fine. So what we had to do is to engineer a complete standalone building that was going to stand next to this 5 inches apart for any seismic movement, and then just run the roofing and the siding along there so it would look like one building. Not a big deal, but it was just an extra additional expense and just some more nonsense that I had to deal with. Well, now that's turning out to be quite a blessing. How is that a blessing, you're asking? Well, it's simple. Instead of a building that would require another building to hold itself up, we have a standalone building that we can build anywhere, completely independent and freestanding. See what I'm thinking? So what options do we have? Well, we have two options. I purchased, when we bought this place, the 2-acre lot just to the east of this property. It's connected to us, and Mrs. W and I purchased that because we didn't want anyone building on it. And it's a buildable site. And it has water installed, and it has a full septic system installed, brand new, that's never been used, buried somewhere under the ground. Now you see why we built the probe? Let's take the mini excavator over there. I've got the as-built in my pocket, and see if we can find it. And Lord willing, we might be able to put the 40 by 40 shop over there, which is going to be the beginning of another another big project that we'll talk about in the future. But let's take the equipment over there and use the new probe and see if we can find it, uncover it, and see what's in there. I don't know about you guys, but I've had just about a belly full of state and federal government dictating to me what I can and cannot do with my own stuff. I think that'll be changing soon enough, though. Well, that's warming up. Run our tools down there in the quad, and I'll come back and grab the mini. This is the 2-acre lot that borders us on the west that is a full buildable site. Means technically, we're hoping, we should be able to put a house or a duplex here, an ADU, which is an accessory dwelling unit. An ADU out west there's such a need. Land prices and home prices are so expensive that it's pricing people out of the area. Families just can't afford it. It's just getting ridiculous. So one of the things that they've done to kind of alleviate that is to allow you to put up what they call an ADU. So what an ADU is it's just a small standalone building that could be like a maximum of 800, right around 900 square feet. It's got to be within 200 feet of the main house, and it's got to share the common driveway or the driveway that you have to the house. So it's got to be part of the home complex. The idea is to have a place that you can rent or that you can have for family members that's going to be small and affordable, just so people can have an option to be in the community. That is what we should be able to do here. Now, what Mrs. W and I are thinking, the house that we bought is really bigger than we want. We would be happier having something a little bit smaller, and when we go to retire, I think it probably makes sense for us just to move over here into something that was a little bit more modest and a little bit more reasonable. The other thing that I'm kind of anxious about is the way the economy is and land prices out west here. It's going to be hard for our kids to get a foothold, to get a start, unless they marry someone that's just got a ton of money. And going into debt for land and houses is just not something I wish upon them or anyone that's outside of their means. This will give us the ability, if we can put up a house and a duplex and an ADU out here, to have some abilities to bring our family in here, and whether that may be. Maybe it's Mrs. W's folks, you know, or maybe it's our kids. Who knows, but we'll have options. We could use it as a rental. We could use it as a guest house, lots of different things. So seems to me that it would be a good place to invest some money, and the first thing we need to do is to find the septic system and then see if we can build the permit. How this affects the shop is that I would still, if we did end up moving over here later on as we got older, I would still like to have a shop to be able to keep my mowers and tractors, and you know what, I like to have my gear and hobby and stuff. And it's close enough to the house that we could use it now. We could use it for storage for equipment. It's not too far away, but would give us an option in the future to have a really nice shop over here as well. So that is our plan B. Let's see if we can find that septic tank, and that will start getting our setbacks and see where the house is going to go. Out west here, when you put in a septic tank, you have to provide the county with what they call an as-built. It's just a small map or a diagram, like a treasure map, of where you put the leach field, where you put the septic tank. So I went online and printed that out, and I have that here, and I've got my setbacks. So we should be able to take our roller wheel here and using the setbacks, provided they were put in accurately, and get a rough idea where that septic tank is at. Now, they proposed a building site right next to that. We can't build any closer than 100 feet to the river. That's the closest that we can get. And there's rumbling because of environmentalism that they're going to push those setbacks to 200 feet. So what we'd like to do is to get a building permit and get this established and get in on that 100 feet so we can be as close as possible. But let's walk this out and see if we can get this nailed down here. According to the treasure map, the leach field starts there. This closest edge here is 115 feet from the riverbank, which is about right here. And from here, we go south about 30 feet, and we should be right on the tank. That's if they drew the as-built correctly. Right. That's a good sign. It says here that we have a 1,000 gallon tank. That's probably concrete if I had to guess. And it shows a rectangle from the drawing. I used to put these in, they were always round, but a lot of them seem to be rectangle today. So concrete, we should be able to feel it. You know, if we go into dirt, and then you go down there, and this being flat, shouldn't be that deep. Now right there, see how easy that went down there? That tells me that I just hit a trench line. That means that's not native soil. What native soil is soil that's never been disturbed or never been dug up. when you dig a trench, when you dig a hole for a septic tank, when you backfill it, unless you compact it, no one does, it's going to be very soft. So you can find trench lines that way, very simple, very easy. You learn from these things how to find stuff and just how it feels. Right there. So trench line here, all the way down. Right there's the lid. So I'll just come back here until I find the corner and mark it. We'll mark all 4 corners. With this corner established, here's the other corner. Jiraiya is bringing the Mini over here, and we'll get this uncovered and see what we got. Then we'll know where the inlet is and exactly where we'll have to put, where we can put the house. I think I've got the 4 corners found, and I'll just spot me and I'll scoop across here and we'll uncover it and see where the inlet's at. So there's the corner right there. So it looks like about a 1,000-gallon rectangle tank. It should have water in it. Now, it's hard to believe that even a concrete tank that weighs thousands of pounds, if you put it in the ground in an area that has a high water table, it'll float and pop out of the ground. Ask me how I know. It happened to my dad when he used to do it. Happened to me. Everyone needs to learn that lesson one time. So when you put your tanks in, even if you're not going to use them for some time, make sure they're at least half full of water, because concrete sailboats, they make sailboat holes out of concrete, and they float, they disperse water. So Jiraiya found the lid here. We'll pop this off here and then look inside and see what we can see, which shouldn't be anything but maybe some water. Let's pop it up, see what we got. Should see an outlet. Yep, there it is. There's a santee right there, and that will be the outlet to the leach field that will go right over there and drain. So the inlet will be here on this side. Now with the edges established, I think the setback from a house or foundation is 10 feet. We can determine where we need to be. With that established, we can pull our setback off the river and know exactly where the house foundation can be. We are looking for 100 feet. That is as close as we can be. And we don't want to be too far from the tank, because we definitely don't want to have to deal with any pumps. And here we are at 100 feet. So this would be the north side of the house, or the back of the house, with Mount Fuji there to the north. Septic system's 20 feet right there, so that will work out perfectly. So if we figure 3, 6, 9, 12, 18. Standard house, garage, entrance, it's going to be somewhere right around here. The house footprint most likely around 60 feet that way. That leaves that whole corner over there. That's a big piece there, over an acre, just over there, that would be suitable for the ADU and the shop. So I knew it would fit, but I'm just trying to get a lay of the land here and just wanted to make sure that there wasn't any conflict with that septic system. So we could be looking at house or duplex, ADU within 200 feet from the river and no more than 200 feet from the house, and then the 40 by 40 shop over there. So we could do a pretty nice little compound right here. And then that's not at all what I was planning on doing with the shop, but Lord willing, if the county will give us a permit on it, I think that's really the logical option. It's not too far away from the main house, but it is private enough where if someone was here, we had a family member, they would really feel like they had their own privacy. But that's kind of how it is. If that's not going to work, if they won't let us do that for the shop, then we have 1/3 option, but we're not going to go there right now until we exhaust all of this. So that's it. It's a little frustrating, but what are you going to do? You got to work within the system. And for now, thanks for watching. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.